Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm not sure if it is going to be part two on this Mercedes SL500 2005 with a convertible rooftop problem. As you can see now, I had a convertible close, which I did manually at first because it was impossible for me to do it electrically or, commanding with a switch. So things that you need to do before you can even open the trunk on this vehicle is either have the convertible tap fully closed or fully open. Otherwise, you will not be able to open the trunk. I was completely right about hydraulic issues with this. Since I couldn't even open the trunk, we called the dealer to find out if we had the hydraulic pump, and they do have it. Even though now I know I don't need it, and I'm going to explain you in a little bit why not. But let me just first show you the process of manually opening the sunroof after you have the sunroof completely down, because otherwise again it will not shut, the trunk lid will not open. And you will know that because these flaps will not be even with the sunroof, I mean convertible, not sunroof. So you need to make sure that you can close that, even pushing it down, helping it, disconnecting, taking the ignition off and let it sit for a little while, and then pushing down until it locks. You will notice that because the windows will raise up and stay there, telling you the rooftop is completely closed. And then you will have a warning message on the cluster. After that, there is uh, make sure that you have the key out of the ignition and at least 2 meters away from the car. Make sure that you have the manual key with you, not the actual key fob, just the key because you're going to need to unlock that. So with the covers on, now I have this side off. You have two plugs that you need to remove, one on this side and one on the other side to access this 6 millimeter Allen wrench bolt. You need to spin it. Let me show you. Right now I got it locked, but it doesn't matter. So all you need to do is put that and the other way. See release in here, and then this one will. Sorry, I focus on my vision and not the camera. And then this one the other way, and that will release the trunk. You need then to have somebody to help you and pull from here both sides at the same time to raise the trunk completely open. Let's say you got, as it is right now, the convertible fully closed. So that's the best scenario. But of course, people is not going to complain for a roof or convertible roof closed. They will complain when the convertible tap is fully open and now they cannot shut it down and it's raining or it's getting too cold, right? So that's the problem. When you have that issue, you need to, before you do what I just said to do here, is to open the trunk, try to raise the whole convertible roof, and kind of like put a wedge or something in here so you can come up to the motor. That's the hydraulic pump motor for the rooftop or body or roof, and use the same millimeter wrench in here. You're going to go counterclockwise and then two turns. Don't use too much force or anything. It's just open it. That will release the pressure, and you will see that now when you lower this convertible tap already here, it will just by itself sit down because that releases the pressure of the entire system. Then you can go on the sides, do the things that I said about with the 6 millimeters, and then use somebody else to pull the trunk lid open, fully open. After you do that, and the convertible is fully open, you need to have somebody else helping you. Then you're going to grab the convertible tab from this, try to guide the front to the lock mechanism on the front. It's going to be like a pin that has to go in and then a lock that has to fit in there. Before you can close it or put them in place in there, there is also another thing that you need to do here. That plug right there has to just open it up, and it's the same 6 millimeter wrench, and you got to come. Um, I think it's clockwise. You'll see it when you do it. So the mechanism in here will disengage and let you bring it in. When you do that, you can lock it doing the other, with the same mechanism in there to the other side. And make sure you push down in here, as just to make sure it's no movement. Again, with two people doing that, then the roof is closed. You can then now come in clockwise, close that valve. Again, just put a little bit of a strength to close it, because otherwise the pump will not build up pressure. Then you need to come over to the trunk, and that's why you need to have the key on. I mean, the actual key. You need to secure before you do that. You need to secure here, and again, it's going to be the opposite way. You'll see the piston is going in, so and it has to stay in. You see how it's holding it down? Let me put some light so you can see it on this side. So the piston has to stay all the way in for the trunk be able to close. But since the convertible tap was open, these flaps in here are going to be sticking out. And obviously this lid will be up here, right? You will have the lid up here and you will see that the flaps are all the way out. So you need to connect the scanner. It has to be either a factory level scanner that you can go over to body RBC or body or roof and use the emergency activations to retract the side flaps. I use Sentry and I was able to do it no problems. I didn't check an hotel, so I would lie if I said that it can do it or not. And for this battery roof hotel, even using the Ultra with the latest software was completely useless. So that's that's my point. When you close those flaps, then you're going to use the key to bring. Let me see if I'm saying this correct. No, before, sorry, you see, I'm talking too fast and I'm not making sense of what I just said. So it is the right procedure, but before you can close the flap, and it will tell you, it's kind of says like the trunk is not closed, so you need to make sure that you bring just the trunk lead. The whole bracket itself is going to stay there, but the trunk lead is going to come and it's going to shut. It has to be completely closed and sensing that it's closed for those flaps to be retracted. After you retract the flaps, again, you can get off the scanner. That's all you need the scanner for. You can now come, use the key, and then close the trunk and put them into this position, which is the normal position. Make sure that this is closed before you close the trunk, and then just close the trunk. And one thing that is going to tell you if you are right is those sides, right here and right here. If they're shutting down normally like it's in here, then the rooftop is fully seated in the front, and those levers on the side, the lock levers, they call that tubular left side and right side levers. They will be completely inside. If you can still move it and they're not staying all the way in, you need to release the pressure and make sure that this rooftop is completely pushed in. That's a that's just the way it is. Yes, I mean that's how I went through all this process, and then I was able to see that the pump is right now has oil, but this was almost empty. Sorry, right here. There is two kind of like triangle. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can see it in there. There is one here, that's the upper level, and then the other one is the minimum. It has to be in the middle of that. So I'm like, okay, we're missing oil. So something is happening. And then yes, I was low in oil. Make sure that you use original Mercedes-Benz oil, only Mercedes-Benz, and this is what the dealer sent with a specific VIN number and everything from this car. So you use the right side plug right here on top. It's let me see what size is that. So you guys they get the whole picture. I still should have it here, and I do. And that's a 4 millimeter. All right, so that's a 4 millimeter in that plug, and use um, I put a rag in here, like absorbent rag on the sides, and just by shutting the container with my fingers, I was able to just find um, a squirrel and fill it up with, as you can see, not a mess, not a drop outside. Everything is 100% clean in here. So if you can do that, then do it that way. Otherwise, try to find yourself a small bottle and then fill it up slowly. That's the only thing I can say. So after that, I'm like, okay, well, the pump operates, and I was able to move the roof back and forth with no issues and fast. But then I was able to see that it was slowly slowing down. I'm like, okay, this is not right. So, and I came back here, and now I am, like you can see, uh, a little lower than the level. So I'm like, maybe as air. So I fill it up again like a 4 times, and it's doing the same thing. So I open this cover on this side, and I notice oil sitting in here, which kind of like I cleaned as much as I could, but you still can see oil here, and the oil is coming from the side lock tubular tubes. Not sure if you're going to be able to see that, but I'm trying to. When this is down, there's a space in here with nothing, so those blocks will cover that.
Yeah, no, I know. I just work on this. On that car, if I sell the front glass, are you able to recalibrate the cameras?
No, that's still only.
Okay.
Show you that it's all full of oil. Let me get the light to exactly what I needed. Hopefully you can see the liquid reflection right at the bottom. Camera is not really focusing on what I need, but believe me, it's right at the bottom. So what it's doing, since there is a lip in here on this, so the oil drips on that side, goes down, and then it stays in there till it fills, which is probably I gotta be able to show that here. I mean, look at all the oil right there. See, it's still dripping. Look. So, and that's the same on both sides. So I'm going to open the rooftop, or not the rooftop, the trunk lead with Ed, and take the cover, the plastic covers, and get everything ready. Parts are coming until tomorrow. They're in stock, but not in Virginia. So, and we go from there. All right. Hopefully, this can help somebody or even myself in the future. All right, guys. All right, guys. Just to give you a little bit of how that trunk open looks. One thing that I forgot to mention before you bring the completely rooftop open to close, make sure the those are open and windows are down just in case the car locks itself or something. I mean, that's just a precaution. And this is the position that before you close these flaps that now are closed because the rooftop is closed, you need to put, this flaps here will be up in here, right? Closing that section. And then you need to shut the lid onto the receiver right there in order to close those flaps. All right, so I got the outer cover out and I haven't touched anything in here except for the plastic cover. And look at all that oil, right? So, I mean, you can see it's definitely the leak. It's not a tremendous leak, but yeah, this system doesn't use that much oil either. So I'm going to have to remove a lot of plastics. Yeah, it's just to guide, hold those hoses in place and get those locks, but they will be here till tomorrow. So I want to show you the information where it says about the name. Then it fixed on the winning here, it gives me this information that I'm going to share with you. So the ones we're replacing are 4 and 5. So it's left tubular frame lock hydraulic cylinder and right tubular frame lock hydraulic cylinder. And this is a diagnostics um information for the specific barrier roof. So this will help you, you know, get familiar, give you a simplified. You can do your own notes in case you want to, save it for later. Um, Again, that's the same. Also, actually, this is not the same. So let me show you this one too. Keep it in the screen for a little bit. This is the position of all the switches involved in this system, which is very important to know where they are because it is very confusing when you have so many switches and they're like, S17, S69 Dutch or, forward slash or whatever, 11 and so on, right? But all right, so this is a simplified wire diagram. The relay for this is right next to the pump where you saw that, and it will show us in here. These are the different stages and what it will be switches doing in there. So again, that's what happens and what happens and what happens. You can pause and read that. Hopefully the quality is good. Same thing in here. These are the possible DTCs. And yes, I was using Sentry and then DAS, which is the old version for these 2005s. Right now, the newest one, I think, is 11 and up. It just uses Sentry, and then the newest ones use the new communication. So again, that's now even better where the switches are with pictures, color pictures. You can zoom in and look at all that stuff. Even here, when this is about what I'm saying about zooming in. This is a very good PDF. Just going to go a little fast in that. Well, actually, I should. Sorry, I got a call from somebody using my phone. So again, we just go slow so you guys can stop the video and watch that. This is one of the main switches you want to check, the S117. That's the limit switch. I mean, this is just to share information with you, where the pump is, the control unit, where it's located, and that is, inside the car, obviously. The A, as you see, is a pressure relief valve. And one thing that is missing on this very good information is where to put the oil, how to put the oil, or what is the level. So I show you this in here too. All right, guys, I will be recording the repair part separately, and hopefully that's the end of the missing oil on this car, and I can give the customer his car back, and he'll be happy. All right, see you.